Here's a look at my raised bed garden. Now I've got, all these are celebrity tomatoes. I've got, I think, 52 of them here. And what I'm doing, my little project, is I've always watered overhead in this garden, unless I was using the, the wand there, which I've been doing for the last week or so since I've had these planted. And I will always keep the overhead sprinkler here simply because if I get a frost, at least I think I'm going to, that's the plan right now. If I get a frost or something like that that's going to come, I can turn these on and it'll protect the plants from a light frost. But what I want to do is water from the ground. I considered the mitt lighter way of doing this with the PVC and everything. It just, my beds are too long for that. You're supposed to have 30-foot beds, and if you go any longer than that, you have to use a different size bit and such as that. And I just I decided to do something a little different, and all this water hose is going to be gone. But I already have some drip irrigation line running down the side of my garden here, and it's going to the apple tree over there, and it's feeding all the grapevines and trees. And it's also, well, I think, yeah, this side is also feeding those trees there. So, I've got this here. I'm hoping that 1/2-inch line will be enough volume to do what I want to do. So, what I've done is about, I need to come in here and tee off from this line and come up to here and attach a soaker hose. I'm just going to use those black soaker hoses. So I've concocted a little thing here. I've got a T that's going to fit on that line right there. It comes up to an elbow, which moves also to a male hose end where I can screw on the soaker hose. So I'm making some of these up, and I've already got 4 of them done. And what it is, again, I've cut off some, about 3-inch pieces of this black tubing, 1/2-inch mainline, I think they call it. And I just cut off a 3-inch piece there. There's the T. These are screw-on. They're not the compression. Now let me show you a compression so you know what I'm talking about. That is a compression. It doesn't screw into the 1/2-inch hose. That's a compression coupling. That's a compression hose end. It doesn't screw in there. It just pushes in there, and they do pretty good. I just like the fact that I can unscrew it when I want to, and it's easy to. I like to be able to move stuff. If I need to move it, change it, whatever, I can do that. And the compression, once you put it in there, dadgum, it's in there. I mean, you can get it out, but you have to work at it, and you kind of tear up the hose, and I think you kind of tear up the coupling too. So that's why I'm not using those. I'm using these. These are compression fittings, and so I put about a 3-inch piece on here, and then I made up that little doodad right there, which is an elbow. That's what that is. About a 2-inch piece of this black line. I cut off about a 2-inch piece of black line, and I have jammed it in there and in there, so where it's in between. So this is going to be the hose end. This is going to come down. The T is going to be right here, and it's going to look again like this. Main line coming this way, main line going that way. I'm just teeing into it. This will be standing up like that. Main line at the bottom, coming up and over those tubs, my raised beds. Okay, up and over that, and then I can screw in my hose into that. So should work pretty well. I'm thinking it will. I'll kind of show you my progress as I go along. Well, I probably should have showed you just how easy that was, because it was. And that's one reason I like these compression fittings instead of the slip joint fittings. I don't know what I called them a while ago, but that's what I was talking about. It's kind of it's a push in. You push it in and it's done. It sticks, connects. But I like these because they're just easy. If something happens here, I break one of these busts or something like that, I can come in there and I can just take it apart. I bought some extra, and it's just easy. It's just easy to get to take apart. If one of them's leaking, I can usually just tighten it up, and that solves that. So, where if it's a fitting where you press it in there, you know, if it's leaking, it's probably going to be leaking a little bit from now on. But anyway, I will put the hoses on here, show you what that looks like, turn it on, let's see how it works. And these are the soaker hoses that I bought. It's two 50-foot hoses. My rows are 48 feet. So my plan is to kind of squiggle them a little bit in and out to kind of make up for the extra 2 feet of the hose, and it'll give a little bit extra watering power anyway in the row. But that's what these are, and you're familiar with them. They're made out of old tires or something. It's recycled rubber, recycle something, and they do a good job. They really do. If you put one on the ground and leave it on for a little while, walk back, you can see that the ground is kind of saturated a foot or two on either side. On either side of the hose, so it does a real good job of soaking in slowly, and watering from underneath is going to be the best way to do this. Again, I've watered overhead for quite a while, and I'm going to do ground watering now, or watering from underneath, or whatever you call it, drip hose something. This isn't drip tape. I was considering using drip tape, and these were just these were too cheap. If I can find a link to them, I'll put a link below the video, and they do a real good job. And they usually last 2 or 3 seasons. And so anyway, let me hook them up. Okay, so we are up and watering. These are my onions, by the way, doing real nice. And you can see the drip. Probably the best place to show. The rest of it's laying on the ground. That's kind of high, so you can kind of see how well it's dripping. And it's been on for about 2 minutes, maybe 3, and you can see that it's already soaked out real nicely. I like the way it looks, more so than the white PVC. I've just always thought that was not real attractive. It can be painted, but you know. But it's doing a real good job. And I didn't show you this, but most of you already know that the ends of these hoses have a baffle in it, or a diaphragm, or a something in it. It's a washer for the hose, but it's also reduces the amount of water that goes in them. So really, you can't. It'll only take so much water. And you know, I told you I was hoping that this one supply line, half-inch supply line, would do all 7 of these 50-foot hoses. That's 350 feet of hose, plus do my my trees and my grapevines. And so just let me show you out here what we got. That is this muscadine vine. I was pointing the other way, so I don't know if you can see it dripping. Nice little drip. So all up this, so I got 350 feet of soaker hose. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably a dozen, 15 maybe, emitters on this line. I've got that raised up because I'm going to mulch it real heavy, and I've got an emitter by each vine. Muscadine, muscadine, muscadine. Rest of them are grapes all the way up. And then I've also got emitters here on the trees, the fruit trees. I think you can see that. See if I can frame it right. I don't have my glasses on. There you go. So I have another line here that's 100 feet, and it's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 emitters on it. And then it crosses over right at that tree there. I've got a little line that crosses over and feeds those 4 trees. So I'm feeding, watering with one little half-inch supply line. All this plus the garden plus that little apple tree, that apple tree, that apple tree, that apple tree, little small one, and that apple tree, and that apple tree. And so there's no telling how many emitters. I would say 24, 30, 35 emitters and 350 feet of soaker hose on one little supply line. And I tell you what, I'm just tickled. And the little whistling sound you hear, I guess, is that little blue diaphragm in that hose. And it's just letting in, you know, with that little bitty dinky hole, I mean, it's like an 1/8 inch hole. You wouldn't think very much water's getting through it, but let's look at that. That's 50 feet, and it's coming out. It's coming out pretty nice. All 50 feet of it through that one little 1/8 inch, it's not even a 1/4 inch, probably 1/8 inch hole. I am happy, happy, happy. That is soaking in nicely. Probably been running less than 10 minutes now, and soaking in nice. And I also wanted to show you that this says it has a 7-year warranty. I'm gonna keep these with the barcode on it. I'm gonna keep my receipts. I'm gonna write down what year it was. I'm gonna take them at their word. Alright? I got these at Sam's. If you don't have a Sam's near you, I'm gonna try to find a link, an Amazon link for you. These are really good. I've used these over and over and over again. I've got a bunch of them, and I've hit a bunch of them with lawnmowers, and I've messed up a bunch of them. I like it. It's looking good. I've talked too much. I'm gonna go in, get a drink. Okay? I believe we're watering. We're gone.